Africa, Africans, the black race, we need to talk. Today's why, May 20th, 2018, we got to talk. For all the African leaders, those who are even aspiring to be a politician, the spiritual leaders, the churches, we have to talk. We have to address some issues in our culture, in our tradition, in our religion that is killing us. It is sucking the very life out of us. And we don't know. Some of us just like to sweep things under the carpet and just pretend like it doesn't happen. Or don't air our dirty laundry. Listen, we have been keeping the dirty laundry in secret for too long. It is a stench. It's time to bring out the dirty laundry and wash it. It's time for us to bring out Africa's dirty laundry and wash it clean. The people in the West have no respect and dignity for us because we show no respect and dignity for ourselves and for each other. What will make a man 30, 40, 50 years old have sex with an 11-year-old girl in Liberia for $1? But then you're the same person who said you're angry at the KKK and you're angry at whoever made a statement, supposedly, allegedly. What will make him? That's an African man. That's a Liberian. What will make him do that? What will make him do that? What will make a mother or a couple goes to the village in Africa, bring a child around the age of between 8 to 12 years old, bring that child into the city because they have a little bit of money, promise their parents that we're taking your child from the village to educate them, only to bring that child to enslave them, to wait on you and your husband and your children as slaves, literally. That those kids have to work like dogs. They work 18 hours a day after you and your husband. Africans are doing this to Africans. This is not normal. It is not acceptable. And if we're going to do better, if Africa going to be great, these are issues that have to be addressed. Ain't nobody saying there's anything wrong with having nannies and house help. But the house help should not equal slaves. Some of those kids have become not only slaves to take care of your own kids. They become sex slaves to your husband. Some of you know your husband are sleeping with his kids and you look the other way. Or you take your anger and your jealousy on that innocent child and beat her up when she's a victim. This has happened for so long and it's happening too long. It has to stop. Parents, mothers. Sometimes mothers know that their daughter or their niece or their child was raped or molested by the uncle, by the cousin, even by the brother. They hush. This happened in Africa, prevalent. This happened in Liberia. And if you bring step-parents involved, even worse. Sometimes the stepfather molests the kids or the stepmother molests. It's just disgusting. And we just keep this cover up. Women have grown up and they are dying inside. And they wonder, does nobody see the pain? Does nobody hear the cry? Who hears the pain? That teenage girl who was molested and raped by her stepbrother from the age of 5 or 10. Now she's a grown woman in her 30s and her 40s and her 50s. She's still broken and dying inside. Who will heal the wound in her own soul? And to add insult to injury, what do you tell her? To keep quiet, keep it covered, hush. And the same perpetrator, now he is the one who's loved and looked up to and taken care of, or worse than that, you ask her to take care of him or to help him out. Is that a slap in the face? Are we going to make Africa great? The only way we can make Africa great, we have to begin to address all of these issues. We have to take a holistic approach to making Africa great, not just to educate lawyers and doctors. Because you can educate lawyers and doctors, make them some of the brilliant and the brightest of mind. But all you have done is created a smart doctor who is also a child molester or a pedophile or a wife beater or a corrupt politician. That's all you have done. You have taken a criminal and a pervert and you educated him. That's it. We want to educate them, but we also want men and women who are emotionally and mentally stable, emotionally and mentally healed. Africa needs some deep healing. I don't know who's going to do it. I don't know how it's going to be done. But it starts with talking and addressing and saying, yes, I was a mother. I messed up. I looked the other way or I didn't know what to do. I'm sorry. It doesn't take much from you to say, I'm sorry. Stepmother, stepfather, stepchildren, stepbrothers, you knew there was sexual sin going on in the house, incest under your nose and you looked the other way. Some of you knew it. Maybe it's so troubled you didn't know how to handle it, so you pretend like it didn't exist, but it existed until that young lady got old enough to leave the house. She left. But that young lady has grown up to become somebody else's mother or wife. Can she be a better mother? Can she be a good wife? Can she even be a good employee? No, because she's broken inside. So we have the broken and corrupt system in Africa because Africa is ruled by some broken and emotionally corrupt and deficit people. That's how come Africa is in the deficit. Not only financially, but both financially, economically, and what? Emotionally and mentally, socially, there's a deficit in our own soul. And it has gone on for too long and for too many generations. We have made excuses. We have covered it up. It's time for us to cut deep to get to the root cause of the problem with Africa. Brothers and sisters fighting amongst themselves. Mothers taking side. What kind of insanity is that? Come on, Africa. We have to wake up. I want to go back to the kids who are brought from the village to come and be treated as slaves. And your husband turn on those little girls and sleep with them in the nighttime, or maybe you know it, maybe you don't know it. And if you do know it, in the daytime, you turn your anger and flog that poor little girl as if she asked for it when she's a victim. So you add an insult to her injury. As opposed to addressing the issue and dealing with your husband is the child you deal with. You brought her into your home and your husband molest her for whatever reason. Maybe you have a marital problem or he don't find you attractive, whatever the reason is. Or some African men just have this mentality because if they have women under the roof, that means that give them entitlement to have sex with any woman under the roof. Some even sleep with their own daughters. That's another issue we'll address that. We're talking about these kids now. Hello? But what those families, you don't realize, those kids who you brought from the village, you have ill-treated them. Your husband have turned them into their sex slaves. Those kids grew up to become women. God may move their hand and put them into a position of authority in your nation. Now look the monster you have created. Hello. The system in Africa is broken politically because it is being run by broken people emotionally. People who are broken emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They are broken inside and out. How can you expect a man who is broken internally to rule or to fix a system that is not? No. Even if the system wasn't broken, he will break it. Seriously. It will affect how they govern nations. It will affect how they govern their homes. It will affect how they govern their businesses. It will affect them. So it's time for us to talk. Let's get the cat out of the bag. Let's get the dirty laundry out from hiding. It has been hiding for too long. It's a stench. It needs to be brought out into the open so we can wash it and wash it clean. So Africa can be great. There's going to be a mass exodus of people returning back. And sometimes we want people to go back to Africa. Many people have no interest. What are they going back to? More corruption, poverty, jealousy, strife, and hatred. Because even the African brothers and sisters in Africa, some of us leave now and go back to Africa. They're not going to welcome you in open arms. They're going to look at you as a threat, like you pose a threat to their jobs. Yes. Because at least you have the education from the West, so you can probably get any job. And they don't have much better education because the education system is as broken as corrupt. So, of course, they look at you as competition. That goes back to the hatred. Hello? That goes back to the self-hate. And if they know they cannot beat you in getting a job, they will do everything they can to tear down your character, your integrity, your business, whatever they will do everything they can to tear it down. Jealousy, hatred. But yet we're the same people who get angry when somebody say Africa is a crappy hole or a hellhole continent. You're angry and you call them racist. But the way you treat yourself, the way you treat other Africans, are you any better? You are worse. Check your own heart. The finger you're pointing at somebody for calling you a racist name, there's 4 fingers pointing right back at you. That means you are 4 times as guilty than the person who you are accusing of the same thing. Isn't it? Africa, we need to talk. We need to start addressing some deep-rooted issues and some issues that is the root cause of Africa's problem. Africa doesn't have an economic, political, religious, or social problem. Africa has a heart problem. A heart lacking love for herself and for each other. What would make a politician that will want to, number one, get into office for 30, 40, 50 years? That he got into office in his 40s and he doesn't resign till he's 95. And while he's in office, his people are getting poorer and poorer and poorer. While he's in office, if he have a headache, he fly to the West, whether to America or to UK, he fly to France, whatever, just for a headache. His kids fly to the West for the best of schools and education and hospitals. You take the same money from the people in Africa, bring it to the West, bring it to Dubai to buy properties, businesses, lands, private jets. These are politicians. But somebody call Africans idiots or whatever name, then you want to defend what? Do you have any right, any platform to speak for Africa when you are the cause of Africa's problem, when you are the one who have stripped Africa of all her natural resources and sold it to the West or invested to the West for pennies on the dollar? A man who loved himself and loved his people, what would he do? He would develop his nation, not rob it blind. You will pave the road. Infrastructure. Something as simple as bare basic electricity, running water, plumbing, we don't have it. Very few nations out of the 52, is it 52 or 53 nations in Africa? You can count on one hand the nations, the very few countries in Africa that have what America has, and I mean basic, like how we have electricity 24 hours, running water, or running, you can open your tap water, your sink and water come from your tap. You have plumbing, proper plumbing, not backup septic tank. Very few countries. Whose fault is it? Then we blame it colonialism. You come to America, the black American blame racism. They blame the man, they blame the system. Us in Africa, how long are we going to blame colonialism? Am I saying colonialism did not play a part to Africa's downfall? Absolutely. But colonialism have left. She may have left her fingerprints, yes. But right now, we can't blame colonialism. We have to blame our crooked, evil politicians and some of those pastors. They are bedfellows. They are buddies now. We have to blame them. Because as evil as we may claim the West to be and corrupt, if they come to Africa to buy our resources for pennies on the dollars, who they going to bribe? Is it not our same politician? So whose fault is it? Is it the West? Or is it our politician now? Colonialism has left Africa. But our spirit of greed, it has possessed our leaders. There's no love in the heart of African leaders. There's no love in the heart of African men towards himself or each other. It's hatred, competition, jealousy, and strife. Look in your own house. If I'm telling lies, look in your own house. So see how you was raised. And if you are blessed and privileged to be raised in a great home, bless you. Look in the house of your cousins or your aunties or your uncles or your neighbor. You will hear stories that will baffle your mind. Say, can the mother do this to her own child? Can the father do this to his own daughter? Can a husband do this to his own wife? You will question that. Many women now, my generation, and the ones coming after, don't care to marry African men. I'm going to be very honest. Because we look at you guys as dictator, cold, distant, unaffectionate. You think you'll continue that, you'll keep us? No, it's not. You're not. So you better wake up now. If you want to keep your African women, you better wake up now and learn to treat us like we are human beings. We're not asking you to put us on the pedestal, but we are human beings with feelings and emotions. If you don't have feelings and emotions, then sit down. Keep single, my friend, until you develop someone and know how to treat a woman like she deserves to be treated. Don't force somebody to come. Then you want to lay up on there and have sex because she must fulfill her wifely duty. Africa, there's so many issues that have to be addressed. I'm not addressing so many issues in this video. But take the one that troubles you, go run with it. Start a forum, start a talk group, start a healing group, start a reconciliation group. But let's start. Don't be silent anymore. Don't be quiet anymore. In the midst of tragedy, you remain quiet and silent. You are as guilty as the perpetrator. Simple as that. Please. I'm back to the political leaders. What will make a president want to be in office for 40, 50 years until he dies? And while he's there, he does nothing to better the lifestyle of his people. He does nothing to take his people out of poverty. But him and his friends and his cohorts and his family members, they put them into a position of authority and they take the money out of the continent to invest into the West. Is that love? Is that respect? Is that a sign of love and dignity? Is that how you treat people who you love? Then I don't want to see how you treat people who you hate. Our African leaders have no respect and have no love for the very people they are meant to serve. That's why God is raising up a new breed of David. I've said it. I will continue to say it. I posted it on Facebook almost 9 months ago. That all you so-called spiritual and political giants, watch your back and be you careful. Don't boast in your arrogance and your pride or your strength or your power or your network, because God is raising up his David to take you down. This whole system will be disrupted. God's going to raise up some radical, no nonsense, who don't care, no compromise with men, no compromise with God. They don't care to compromise. They just care to make Africa great. And we're going to make Africa great. And you stay in our way and stay in the way of God wanting to use us, you will be bulldozed. Period. Doesn't matter how long you be there. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much clout, how much influence, how much connection. It matters not how much you have embezzled outside of Africa. God knows how to humble and rebuke you, and he will use the nobodies, the no names like us, to challenge you, to confront you, and bring you down, because it's time for a change of hand. And no, look, I always like to preach change of power, or power must change hand. Look, well, thank you for that prayer point, because power is going to change hand. In the political spectrum, in the social spectrum, the economical spectrum, and not to forget, especially this religious or spiritual spectrum, power is about to change him. Watch the new breed of Africans and Christians rise up. We're going to disrupt all your plans. How you do church, how you do ministry, how you handle social, economical affair, humanity effort, how you run every corporation, government of corporation, orphanages, even the orphanages in Africa. It's not even fit for me to put my dog in there. We got to teach people who own or runs orphanage. We have to teach them how to be mother. They yell at the kids. They go sit down. I mean, come on. And I'm not even angry at those people who are abusing those kids. You know why? Because once upon a time, those were abused young girls. And they grew up to be abused women who are abusing children. And then you put them in charge of children to run orphanages. What do you expect? The cycle continue. But it must end with this generation in Jesus' name. We must awaken from our slumber, Africa. We must awaken from our dullness, our dumbness, our blindness, our ignorance, our stupidity, our laziness. We must awaken. Something in you must stir up and say, I must do something. Do something to change the condition of Africa. And I'm even making a plea to all of us in the diaspora. It's easy for us to sit on our social media platform, whether we type a message or we record a video. It's easy for us to point out the issues and the flaws of Africa. I do that myself. But when are we going to go from talking about the problem of Africa and doing something to solve it? We have to go back there, start a foundation, train people. You don't have to move there, but set up something to begin to train the young people so the generation going forward don't have to follow in the footsteps of those guys who have destroyed Africa. Let's do more than just talking. Let's do more than just putting a post and talking about, yes, we must continue to expose wickedness and evil, but we must not stop there. Let's put some action behind our words and our videos. Let's get up and begin to mobilize and do something. Put our heads together. Get a group of people, a team of people. Maybe raise up an institution just to teach them even basic, something as simple as love one another. Something we don't know how to do in Africa. Love, teach them the value of integrity. If it's a learning institution, if that's all you teach them, you don't teach them about mathematics, science. That's for somebody else to do. But maybe set up an institution that would teach them dignity, love, self-respect, honor, that the value of integrity. That when you say yes to somebody, you can shake your hand and then go to grave with that yes. That you will do whatever it takes to fulfill what you say yes to. And even if for any reason something happens, you can't fulfill that yes, you are at least man or woman enough to say, listen, I know I promised you this, but I cannot do it because something came up. Can you forgive me, or can we reschedule, or can I do? You just don't show up. You just don't call. And the person show up and you act like nothing happened, or why they have attitude with you. Africa, we can't continue on this. We can't continue on this route. Something must change. Something must give way. We must do something. We must do it now. All of us have to put in our effort and our work. We have to do something. We can't just sit back in the West. We are comfortable in our air condition, our cell phone. We have 24 hours, all these luxuries that people in Africa only dream about. And then we want to continue to beat them on the head about their laziness and their stupidities and their ignorance. Granted, it's true. But can we do something to help change the condition of the Africans that we are condemning and judging? Can we do something to change the condition besides talking to them or reminding them of their faults? Can we do something? Because then we're not helping. Because can somebody continue to remind you of your faults and your flaws continuously without putting together a plan, a blueprint to help you? Will you listen to them? I know some of the people in Africa have been so brainwashed that even the truth sounds like fiction to them. No problem. Open up a school, an institution. Do something. Let them come and sit at least listen to you and take notes. If you do it for free and you teach them, they will listen. So I beg of you, let's all of us in the diaspora do something to help the condition, to help improve the conditions of our brothers and sisters in Africa. There's a wind of change. There's a new breed rising up. There's an army rising up that will disrupt Africa from the root up. Those principalities that have ruled Africa from inception, they call themselves politicians, they call themselves pastors. The season and the time is upon us that God will dethrone them. But he'll use the David like us to dethrone them and take them down and take them out. I know they are boasting in the arrogance and the pride. They are boasting that they have the money. They are boasting maybe that they have some kind of witchcraft power. Maybe they have slaughtered 5 babies. Who knows? But who can contend with God? The book of Daniel said there's a God that sits in the heavens. He rules in the affairs of nations. He rules in the affairs of men. It is God who decides to raise up one king and bring another down. It is not your political clout. It is not your networking. It is not your influence or your affluence. It is not how many bags of rice you give to the old ladies. It is not even your education background, whether you're an eloquent speaker, whether you have the right education, the right connection, the right networking. It is not that. It is God who decides to raise up one king and brings another down. And this is the season you'll see many principalities coming down. Because God is raising up his David. He's releasing them all over Africa to disrupt Africa and bring her back to heaven's intended purpose. That is the Garden of Eden on earth. This is your drill sergeant, Dagnet. I salute you and I pray something convicts you and stirs you up. Share this video and thank you. Join us live, Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube as we get together to do warfare on behalf of the souls of the nations of Africa and the nations of the world, as we get together to brainstorm on ideas, how to make not only Africa great, make America great, how to turn back the bride of Christ and return her back to her first love, how to cry out to God for a blueprint to bring back the prodigals. Join us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., both Eastern Standard Time, USA. Thank you for sharing this video. God bless you. Thank you. I salute you. The boot camp is called Warriors in Training Prayer Boot Camp. This is where wimps becomes warriors. Chickens becomes eagles. Kitty cat becomes lion or lioness. This is where you come to develop some spiritual backbone. Learn how to exercise your divine authority placed upon your lips. Grow up. There's no time to become wimps. This is the time for a showdown. This is the season of showdowns. Yes. My God versus your God. Heaven's agenda versus your agenda. This is the season that the Davids will show up, begin to confront those Goliath one by one, take them down. You better make yourself available that God can use you, that you can become the Lord's battle axe, that you can become a weapon in the hand of God to confront those David. Watch them bow. Bless you.